Y'all got to hear him whistling today. He thinks he's the wise old owl or something. I'm not sure what his problem is today, y'all.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Again, a little bit late getting on, just getting back into the office. We're going to be back in Gospel of John, but we're going to be in the 21st chapter. We looked at the end of the 20th yesterday about Thomas and being blessed and believing in Jesus. We have power in the name of Jesus. Now, he shifts gears here, and he appears to some of the disciples. It said, later, Jesus appeared again to the disciples beside the Sea of Galilee. This is how it happened. Several of the disciples were there, Simon, Peter, Thomas, nicknamed the twin, Nathanael, the sons of Zebedee, and two other disciples. Simon Peter said, I'm going fishing. We'll come too, they all said. So they went out to the boat, but they caught nothing all night. At dawn, Jesus was... Now, remember, they went back to what they was, fishermen, before Jesus called them. So they're going to go back. They're probably sitting around lost. We don't know what we're going to do. Da-da-da-da-da. And how many times have we been that way? A lot of times we think, well, the Lord's forsaken us. We don't know how we're going to get out of this problem. So a lot of times we go back to what our flesh knows to do. And sometimes that ain't good. If it's alcohol, drugs, anger, fear, doubt, worry, it can get us wrong. So go fishing. They caught nothing all night. At dawn, Jesus was standing on the beach, but the disciples couldn't see who he was. He called out fellows, or some of the translations will say children. In that, just depending on what translation you have. Brothers, but some say children. Have you caught any fish? No, they replied. Then he said, throw out your net on the right-hand side of the boat, and you'll get some. So they did, and they couldn't haul their net because there were so many fish in it. Then the disciple Jesus loved said to Peter, it's the Lord, which was John. When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on his tunic, for he had stripped for work, jumped into the water, and headed to shore. The others stayed with the boat and pulled the loaded net to the shore, for they were only about 100 yards out. When they got there, they found breakfast waiting for them, fish cooking over a charcoal fire, and some bread. Bring some of the fish you just caught, Jesus said. So Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net to the shore. There were 153 large fish, yet the net hadn't torn. Now come and have some breakfast, Jesus said. None of the disciples dared to ask him, who are you? They knew it was the Lord. Then Jesus served them the bread and the fish. This was the third time Jesus had appeared to disciples since he had been raised from the dead. What I want to talk about is being obedient when we even really don't know for sure the outcome of the problem. We just know the Lord saying, change up your program. They had fished all night, and so Jesus shows up. They really don't know who it is, and he calls out to them, children, brethren, hey guys, throw out your net on the right side and you'll get some. So they were probably tired. They'd been out all night, so they didn't know what it was. They threw it out there, and then they figured out it was the Lord. And when we do it the way God says it, our net gets so. And even though the blessing's so full like this, net should have torn. It didn't, because the Lord was in it. That old song you sang, little is much when God is in it. And so if you're having problems and struggles in life, don't go back to because the flesh will always want to try to take you back to what's comfortable, what you've made it to in the past, or what you've turned to in the past. So make sure that you turn to the Lord. Go with his program. It may be unorthodox. That was what they was used to do, fishing on the left side of the boat all the time. Now somebody said, throw it to the right side and you're going to get some. And which they did. Unfortunately, they did. And they caught. They had more than enough than what they needed to do that. So, Kelly, when you get in the struggles of life and your flesh wants to go back to what's comfortable or what you know, what do you do to make sure that you don't allow that to happen?
I just try to stay in the Word, but also try to surround myself with people who will also help me. When they see that I'm struggling, that they will pull me back to where I need to be as well, and not in condemnation or not out of meanness, but out of love for me that says, I need you to do this. I need you, let's go here. Let's do this. Let's not do that. Let's not get back in that hole that you were in. And it's just staying in the Word and just looking for the beauty in every day, because some days we do have to look for the beauty. Monday, I don't know, I woke up really emotional. I don't know why. I was just emotional. I was emotional all day. But I looked for the beauty when I went for a walk and I saw the beautiful sunset. I knew that God had painted that just for me, so I could see his handiwork and I could see him. And then looking at the flowers that are starting to bloom and seeing the bees and the butterflies and all of that, knowing that even though I'm having a tough time, life does go on, and I need to go on, and I need to keep moving forward in his name and doing what he has asked me to do.
Right, and that's the thing, that they went on and done it, and it took them, even though they was unsure, and a lot of times we'll be unsure about the outcome of the problem. When they looked up and said, hey, that's the Lord. When John said, it's the Lord, well, Simon just bailed out and took off on that. So again, don't get all shook up and worried about it. Just know that God's got a plan, and God will get you through it. He will take you through it every single time.
His plan is perfect, and it's at the right time. He will move you at the right time. He will move things for you at the right time. We always just think that when we ask for something, God can just automatically do it. Well, sometimes He's got to move some other things around and move some other things around and other things around. It can't just be an immediate answer. And we just need to be patient in His plan. Sometimes that's very difficult to be patient. Some people don't have any patience whatsoever. And and we have to have some patience because people are going to they're going to test our patience. They're going to test us until we just can't handle it anymore. But if we'll just stay faithful to Him and stay faithful to His plan will be perfect, and He will move all the pieces that need to be moved. Because it is a big puzzle. He's moving pieces here, moving pieces there. And when you get to the end of whatever it is you're going through, you go, wow, He orchestrated amazingness.
And He does. And like I said, they'd worked on it. They're tired. A lot of times we're working hard. We're doing, and that wasn't wrong for them to go fishing. That wasn't something sinful. They just went back to what they was before the Lord called them. And He called them. We're going to get into this tomorrow, Lord willing, about where He asked Peter to feed his sheep and the guilt and condemnation that Peter had for denying Him. So again, Jesus fed them, took care of them, blessed them with more than they could hardly drag in, and their nets didn't tear up what they had. And so God always meets us right there, even when we've given up, going back to what we know in the flesh and being led by the flesh, not the Spirit. God is still there to move us through it. He
sets the perfect example of serving, because even at the Last Supper, He served them. He washed their feet. He served them food. And here again, He's serving them again. He had breakfast ready for them. He's serving them. He's a perfect example of serving. When we get tired of serving because people can take advantage of that, we still need to know that that's what God has asked us to do. We need to keep serving, even in the hard. And sometimes it is hard to serve people that are absolutely miserable people.
Yeah, and people can be tough.
You have to, if that's what God's called you to do, you need to do it. A lot of times we're going to be like, if God puts somebody on our heart and it's somebody really hard that we really don't want to deal with, we'll call a pastor and say, hey, so-and-so really needs for you to call him. Well, if God puts so-and-so on your heart, you really need to call him.
Right.
You really need to reach out to him. That's not pastor's job, because He didn't put them on pastor's heart. He put them on your heart. So you need to be obedient in that. And that's all it's about, is just being obedient to what He's called us to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that if we'll just be obedient, God will take care of it. Not saying it's going to be easy.
No.
But we'll get through this. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We appreciate our sponsors, Donna Sheila Ferris, Howard and Janice Clark, Leonard and Debbie Spencer, Gordon D. Kennard, Genesis Home Health, Turnbow Trailers, Parco Tax and Services, My Travel Mission, Stacy Reese, Watkins family, Travis Holloway, and Ted and Alicia Crawford.
Yes.
We got others that just didn't want their names mentioned. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
so
to all those guys on that. Thank you everybody that come out and helped with the kids. We didn't have a huge youth crowd, but we had a big little kid
We did have big
crowd. There's a lot of
last
little
night.
kids here. So again, appreciate all the cooks, the
Yes.
cleanup crew, the safe team that was here, the van drivers, and all that. Thank you for everybody
Yes.
that was
Because
here
it's
and worked
of
in
you
that.
that it's successful, and the kids did have a good time
Yeah,
last
they
night.
did. They enjoyed it.
They liked the food. They liked the fellowship. It was a good time
Yeah,
for
it
them.
was a good evening for them. So nothing going on tonight, tomorrow night, Friday, somewhere else, Saturday. Same thing being here, Lord willing, Sunday at 9 and 11. Also, don't forget Sunday after church, Clarence is going to be doing a food preparation or family preparedness and something food. Canning
and family
this Sunday
preparedness.
after the second service. So that's
Yes.
going on. If you want to come, those are free classes that Clarence does. He normally does a little PowerPoint, some hands-on stuff. So they'll be doing that this Sunday after the second service. The following Sunday, the 23rd, we'll have safety team training right after the second. Not this Sunday, the 23rd, and then elders and deacons at 4. So the next two Sundays are pretty booked up. And then the 30th, something new we've not done in a long time. Brother Ben Scroggs and Freedom Church will be over here at 6 o'clock at our place, and their praise team is going to do the music, and then Brother Ben's going to preach, and then we're going to go over and eat. So we'll need some, if you can bring in some food to that would be great. That is on Sunday night, April 30th. So starting at 6 p.m. So I'll be announcing that over the next few Sundays, and we're looking forward to being with Brother Ben and the Freedom Church folks on Sunday, April 30th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
So God bless y'all. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Please share this with your friends and on your Facebook pages. That helps us really get it out there better than anything that we can do. So God bless you. Remember, it's faith over fear, Christ over crisis, and you can remain calm in the chaos.